And I just want to say officially, thank you so much for showing up in whatever capacity that you are here today. And know that every workout can be tailored to what you need out of it. I am trying to breathe a bit more stretch into these bar exercises because I think we need it more now than ever. So just know your surroundings, be careful, know your limits, make modifications where you need, and congratulate yourself, because I think when life gets crazy, this commitment to ourselves and our health is really vital. So we're going to start standing. You don't need anything around you. We're going to get warmed up. All right. Here we go. Okay. So find your feet. Oh, would you like to see my head? That's a little better. Find your feet under your hips, not way out wide, not too narrow, just under those hips. And then we're going to sort of take the hands to the hips and run slowly. That's it. So stay lifted. Try not to pitch forward or side to side, and make it small. Feel through your ankle, your knee, your hip, and just see how it feels today. For 4 and 3. Find your balance. 2 and 1. Land those heels a little closer together. Breathe your arms up. We're going to open to first and squeeze the shoulders to the spine. So exhale, open and squeeze, inhale together. Good. So try not to hike up too much around the ears. We want to get the mid back to wake up. Squeeze your glutes. So feel those as the initiators for the change in the position of the femur bones. For 3 and 2. Last 1. And now we'll land here. Pull those hands down, step out a little wider to your second, and we'll bend and tap. Yes, that's it. So we really want to lift away from the floor. So point that toe and stretch the leg long and up into the hip. Now, if you want something a little bigger, add the arms. Keep your belly pulling up and in so your tail stays long. This isn't huge yet, it's just a warm up. So we just want to move with good form. Linking breath to that movement, getting the blood pumping, getting the lungs working. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Now a little wider, maybe shift side to side. Let's stretch across and down like we're trying to tap the opposite knee, but keep the weight rolling to the outsides of the feet. Keep your ribs lifted and engaged and folding together and down toward the hips. Squeeze those glutes. For 5, for 4, for 3, last 2, last 1. Now we'll slide it together. Oppositional marches. This is another place where we really want to flow, keeping the torso really stable, keeping the shoulder and hip joints sort of lubricated and mobile, and not falling into the floor. Power from your back, including the glutes and the mid back. Almost there. 4, 3, 2, last 1. Now shift your weight into your left leg and hug your right knee into your chest, whether it's at the shin or underneath. Wake up those hips a little and shift to the other side. Take the moment of pause before you shift so that you feel the weight into the other side. One more breath here. Gorgeous. Step wide again. This time we'll do a little squat and a kick forward. Little squat, alternating kick. Try to stay parallel in the feet. Try to send your hips back for an imaginary chair. Hands in prayer. Inhale down. Exhale up, pushing through that heel. You're almost there. For 4 and 3, 2 and 1. Keep it wide here. Sit into that little chair and flutter the heels. Sort of shake everything awake. That's it. Your arms can move front to back if you like. For 4, for 3, for 2, last 1, and release. Stand tall. Take your heels together. If you need to hold on to something, that's fine. Let's shift the weight to the inside leg. Outside leg is going to pull across for 3. and then circle out and around for 3. And we'll repeat that again. Pull across with the heel, 2, 3, out and around, 2, 3. 2 more times and we'll alternate the direction of the circles. 3 swings, 1, 2, 3 hip circles. Pull across, 2, 3, out and around, 2, 3, and release. Other side, you don't really need to move if you're hanging on. 3 pulls, 3 swings. Get a little loose in the hips. Breathe, 2, 3, wake up those inner thighs, circle, 2, 3. Now we'll pull across and then reverse the direction of the circle, 3. This time out and around, 2, 3. Stir that brownie batter in the bowl, as they say, 3. Out and around, 2, 3. Beautiful job. Just shake everything out. And we're going to come down to the mat to warm up the abs and the chest. So we're going to use some weights. Grab those if you have them. Gorgeous. And we'll get started. So lay on down. And before you start with the weights, just bring them out of your way, bend your knees, and turn the hips side to side a little bit so that we not only release the hips a little more, but the low back relaxes and we get a little spinal twisting. Ah, this feels so nice. I don't want to stop. One more time to each side. Gorgeous, and release. So take those weights in your hands above your chest. Anchor your shoulders to the mat. And then just a couple of times, maybe rock in and out of your neutral and your imprint, even tipping to extension if that feels good. It's like you're nodding your pelvis. Yes, yes, I am so ready for this work. And then draw the belly button up and into the spine like the navel is a little fish hook and take the legs to tabletop. Gorgeous. So we're going to start here with taps one at a time, opening up at the hip, but not arching the low back. So you inhale to tap down, exhale to lift up. You might not hit the mat. If you're arching, don't go quite so low. Return the knee right above the hip. Yes, you've got this. And remember, it's more about reaching down than it is away from you. Last 4 and 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here on tabletop and reach the weights across the body. So this isn't really forward flexion. We're sort of shifting side to side, taking the weights with us. And we really want to feel the belly kick in here. The back of the pelvis is stable. The transverse abdominis corseting around the sides of the body. Last 3 and 2. Next one, we get to rest the head. Doesn't that sound nice? So here we are, the weights come together. And we're going to stretch the legs out as we pull the elbows wide to the mat, pull the knees back in, head can rest. Inhale, reach everything out. Exhale, back to start. So it's a little chest fly with your double leg lower. Really cement that low back into the mat. Usually I use the word lengthen, but today I want you to stay really sturdy there. For 3 and 2. Last 1. Now we're going to hover. Elbows just hover off the mat, feet hover away. You can curl the head up if you want and hold for 4, for 3, for 2. Bend the knees, place the legs down. Turn the palms away from you. Tap the weights together and then the elbows wide. Inhale down, exhale up. Little chest presses here. And we're sort of warming up the shoulder joint, the juncture where the chest meets the arm. Pull wide, press up. For 4, for 3, last 2, last 1. Release. We're going to place the weights aside, swivel on around, finding table. We'll walk the knees back until we find that we're in a plank position for small little push-ups. Let's turn the left fingers in, right fingers stay forward. So when we lower, the left elbow goes out to the side, the right elbow comes back by the wrists, ribs. 2 more times, and then we'll switch. Last one. So this time, left fingers forward, right fingers angle in a little bit. The right elbow goes wide. The left elbow hugs back. 5 total. Breathe. Last one. And release back. Oh, that feels good. All right, so we're gonna get into the hips a little bit. And we're also gonna get into the triceps a little bit more. So we'll do another song on the mat. If you have blocks, you might want them nearby. You want your weights nearby. Okay. You might not necessarily need the blocks, but they're here for you. Okay, so we're gonna start here up on the knees. Let me slide this just a hair. And from here, from this nice tall position, we're gonna tip everything over to the right. Arm lands right under shoulder, leg reaches away from you, comes up no higher than hip height. Other hand can come to the back, the forehead. So we're gonna kick forward, point the toe, sweep back, not too far. Kick forward through the heel, point and sweep back. And we wanna feel this work in the gluteal muscles. We don't wanna fold in and out through the torso, it stays stable. As we kick forward, pull back. Kick forward, pull back. And that foot stays on the same, just stays the same distance away from the ground the whole time. For 3, and 2. Last one. Now hold it here, tiny presses up. And if you need to see where the work is, put your hand on the glute and feel the work. Try not to fall into your wrist. For 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Bend that knee, flex that foot, and little circles. For 8, 7, 6, you've got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Strong belly and back. Come on up. We'll tip it the other way. So you could have a block if you needed to under your hand. Top leg comes up. We stretch it away. Hand right under shoulder. So we kick forward with the heel and then we pull back through the toe. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Couple more. Again, the work is here. And it doesn't have to be high. You could be down here. Just stay consistent for 4 and 3. You've got this. Squeeze your glutes toward one another. 2, that image sometimes helps. Last one. Now hold it out right, not behind the hip, but maybe a little in front, and pulse it up. Yeah, stretch that leg. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Second side's usually harder. Last one, bend the knee, a little bit of a turnout, circle around. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Sit back on your heels, nice and narrow. Walk your hands to the left, right hand on top, and shift your hips out to the right. Rest your head. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back through center, centering the hips as well. Walk the hands to the right, left hand on top, and then shift the hips out to the left. You get this long stretch from the fingertips to the back of the hips. Hopefully that feels nice. For 3, and 2. Last one. And release. Come back and up through center. Rise up onto those knees. Drop that right arm and side bend over to the right. Oh, feeling this huge stretch, sort of a continuation of what you did, while the hips stay nice and balanced front to back. And then take it the other way. Oh, that feels great. And then reach up, sweep the arms up overhead. Squeeze your thigh bones forward and twist open to the right. So your ribs are turning, your shoulders are turning, but your hips stay pointing forward. Inhale up, other way. Imagine squeezing a block between your legs. Inhale up, hands behind the low back, open the shoulders and heart. Tip the chin up toward the ceiling. Just a little bit. For 3, 2, and release. Gorgeous job. Okay, from here, we're gonna work on the triceps just a little bit more. This is where the weights will come into play, and then we'll shift into the biceps a little bit. All right. Okay. So from here, we'll sit up tall, swivel the legs around nice and long, and walk the fingers back so they're facing the hips. The chest should stay proud, so you don't want to fall in on yourself here. And your fingers really need to face the hips. That's important. Imagine your elbows hugging together. Inhale, you're going to lower halfway by bending the arms and then press up. This isn't tremendously fast. Your collarbones need to stay wide. Your heart needs to stay lifted. So shine your heart forward and up across the room. You can cross the legs if they kind of anchor you a little more. Now imagine the elbows reaching toward each other in the back. And this isn't about your torso going up and down, right? This is about your elbows bending, tricep dips. And from here, if it's too easy, walk your hands a little further away from you. If it's too hard, walk them a little closer. We're on the last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Grab those weights. We're going to lower it to the mat. I'm going to turn away from you. So we're going to place the weights above the chest, touching. We're going to inhale and keep them touching as we bring them toward the forehead and then press them back up. So elbows stay in one steady spot. They just bend and extend. We're trying to get into the triceps some more. Keep your wrists long and those weights glued together. Don't let the elbows splay out, right? Should feel like a tricep contraction. Ooh, this is hard work for me. These are called skull crushers. So please don't crush your skull. For 4 and 3. Here's 2. Last one. Now turn the weights to face each other, but keep them together. Tap them to your heart and push up. Keep the elbows as close in as you can toward the body. And breathe. You've got this, guys. 4, 8, 7. Last little chance to wring out the work in the triceps. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Curl yourself on up. Release those weights to the side. That's it. Let's come to the chair. Hands on top. We'll step up and back to downward facing dog, stretching out those arms. And then we'll unwind to plank. Nice wide feet and little calf raises. So we really want to make sure that the hips aren't coming up and down, that we're keeping them in that long plank-like position and we're getting into the calf muscles. If this is a lot for your wrists, it could be done on the elbows. It could also be done standing using the back of your chair. So do what's right for you. Move through those ankles. Feel the weight evenly across the pads of the feet. For 8 and 7, 6 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Bend your knees and walk them in a little. Keep the heels lifted. Find a flat back and then scoop and release. This should be more about the bottom of the spine than about the top. So keep your ears right over your shoulders. Draw those tails down underneath you. For 5 and 4. Use your breath. Here's 3 and 2. Last one. And then place your heels down, drape over your legs, release your head and your hamstrings, maybe even sway side to side, keeping the tail lifted, and then roll up carefully through the spine. Okay, so now we're gonna use the seat of the chair, but not really to sit. So don't get too excited. We're gonna grab the green band. So you're going to hover in front of the chair. We want to get the quadriceps to turn on. So let's start by sitting. This is just a tiny intermission. And placing the band under the feet, both feet. Make sure your tails are kind of even. And then draw them in, palms facing each other. Okay, little fists. All right, so inhale here, really stand on the band on the floor. Hug your belly up, lift your pelvic floor. And then just press forward into a little chair and try to stay as low as you can. Like at any minute, I might ask you to sit down because I might. So stay here in chair. Squeeze your glutes together. This should make your tail come long instead of tucking or tilting. Now roll the shoulders back and down and hug those elbows into your spine so you have super wide collarbone. And we're gonna pump up 2 times, release for 1 for bicep curl. So here we go. So it's 1, 2, release, pull, pull, lengthen. So little exhales. Now your low back should not be arching. Your knees should not be knocking in toward another. That's why we're using the glutes. Your belly should lift away from your thighs. And then you should feel that nice contraction in the biceps because the shoulders are rolling back and down. Pulse, pulse, release. Pulse, pulse, release. Gorgeous. So we're going to combine biceps and quadriceps, if you couldn't tell, for 4, for 3, last 2, last 1, and release. Let the band go, find your chair, grab your weights if you can. Come to the front of that chair, sit forward, elbows back. So we're gonna reach back and pull forward. So this isn't a tricep kickback, this is still about the biceps. We still have lifted belly and long tail, feet flat on the floor, shoulders rolling back and down. Now, I am really feeling this work in the biceps. Depending on how heavy your weights are, you might need a few more repetitions than I do. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn out and sit up tall. Release and pull in. That's it. We're gonna get back to the legs in just a moment. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold here. Pull in and out. 8, 7, 6. Nice tall spine. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hook the weights on your shoulders. Sort of cup them in front. Draw your belly up. Lift to a hover. And little pulses. Get back into the heels. Draw the gluteal muscles into really great activation. Yes, and just get into the thighs. The knees reach over toward the middle toes, and we're still reaching the tail back as though we could sit on the chair at any moment. Almost there for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand tall. Okay, just make sure nothing's in your way. I'm going to just slide my band over, and I might slide my chair to the side of me. We might use that in a minute. So we're going to do some squatting, bigger squatting, with the weights at the shoulders. So we're going to start nice and parallel. We're going to sit back, punch up to the ceiling. There you go. Maybe you want to see me. Sit back, punch up. Inhale, exhale. Notice that I don't have any kind of funky business going on with my knees. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, last 1. Now take the weights to the hips, come in a little closer with that foot, those feet. Step your left leg back, lift up, come back and down, punch up. So it's a lunge, both knees bend. For 4, for 3, find your balance. For 2, last 1, back in the center, shake it out. Only 1 more leg, as I said the other night, thank God we're not octopus. Come on back, bend the knees, punch up. Come back, punch up. You have to use your glutes, especially on that front leg that's standing. For 4 more after this. For 3, I'm losing my balance. For 2, last 1, and release. Put those weights aside. Come to the side of your chair. I'm going to use the bar on one side of the chair on the other. We're going to turn out here. Go first. Lift and lower. So these are kind of quick. So we're going to keep them right in the mid-range, not banging the joint up at the top or the bottom. For 5, 4, 3, 2, hold here, slide down, squeeze those heels together, and just squeeze. Feel the glutes kick in, feel the quads working isometrically for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pulse up and down. Slide your tail up and down the wall. We don't need to tuck way under here. We reach the tail down between the legs as though we have a heavy pendulum. Gorgeous. Squeeze those glutes together. I know this is getting tough. Breathe your way through it. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, release. Stand tall, shake that out. So we're going to stretch the quads while we're standing. So right hand on the chair, reach up and back and grab your foot, pull it into alignment. Bend your standing leg a little. Pull your tail down, but slide your knee back. See if you can really open the whole thigh up into the hip. Stay here for a breath. For 3, for 2, last one. And then sweep that leg over the other knee. Use your chair to sit back to a figure 4 stretch. Nice and level with the hips. Really stand firm in that standing leg. Bend the knee and keep the weight reaching back like you were for that chair earlier. For 3, 2, nice long even breaths. If your breath got a little ragged, draw it back in. Last one. Push the floor away. Other side. Grab that outside leg. You might need to move the knee in a funny position to grab it, but then draw it back down, active and alive. Bend the standing leg a little. Elongate the tail. Slide the knee back behind you a little. Nice open chest. Lots of energy, foot between hand. The effort of opposition here. For 4, and 3, 2, release. Sweep that leg around front. So I like to sit back if I can. Use my hand. You can even sit on your chair for this and lean your heart forward toward your shin, but keep your sitting bones long behind you. So you shouldn't feel weight in the knee that's standing. You should feel weight back into that heel. Back into the sitting bones for 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Stand tall and shake it out. A little water if you need it before we get moving again. All right. Let's grab the band. So we're going to try to get into the mid back a little bit. So just hold the band about shoulder width apart. Find your second position and slide down that wall. Make sure your arches are lifted and your femur bones are rolling open. From here with fingers, like I said shoulder width, I'm going to change that. Move the knuckles a little closer. We're going to pull the band up and apart as we stand at the top, lifting the elbows and drawing the band toward the chin. And what we want to feel with this little bit of band work is the muscles between shoulders and spine kicking in. So it's not fast. It's very elastic. That's it. Notice your tail. Don't throw the plie away. For 8. For 7. Here's 6. 5. You're almost there. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Stand up tall. Band comes under the feet. We're going to stand nice and tall, the band at the hips. We're going to squeeze the shoulders to the spine. So a lot of times people sort of paddle through the front of the arm. Remind yourself of what it would feel like to have my palm between your shoulder blades and for you to try to squeeze right there. That's what we're looking for. So in the front, it should feel like chest expansion, almost a stretch for the pectoral muscles and even the biceps maybe. For 5, for 4, or 3, 2, and 1. Bend your knees and sweep into little semicircles, trying to kiss the thumbs. That's it. Lift the belly. Feel mobile through the shoulders, but still active in the mid-back. For 5, for 4. Here's 3, 2, 1, and release. Gorgeous. Okay, band aside. We don't need anything else for this song but the back of the chair or the bar. We're gonna get into those gluteal muscles again. So, starting is really important here. We wanna make sure that our back is parallel to the floor. The knees are bent and the feet are sort of under the hips. That can happen here or here with hands on head. Could even happen here. You could really grab the sides, but you want to keep the back long. I'm actually going to go with this today. So let's take that right leg behind us. Start with the hip turning down. Lift it up and back and just squeeze the glutes. And let's see if you can get that to happen. Imagine you're sitting on your hands and that you're just squeezing the glutes. So it's really small. My leg isn't winging up and down a lot or around and around. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm gonna bend my knee and flex my foot and pull the heel in toward my glutes like I'm trying to kick myself in the bottom. That's it. Strong shoulders, strong standing leg, which has a little bend in it, so the low back doesn't do work. Let's fire the hamstrings here. For 4, for 3, 2, last one here. Now push up, little push up. Yes. And if you notice, my back's not moving around. It's not this spinal exercise. It's right in the glute med really too for 5, 4, 3, 2. Bring that knee down and open it to the outside. Little fire hydrants. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. We're not even going to get out of the shape for the other side. Make sure that back is nice and long. Take the leg behind you, lift it in the air, square it up, and just squeeze the glutes. Not a big lift, but a lot is happening for me for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to bend the knee and flex my ankle, and I'm going to pull in and press away. And this one, I almost feel more in my standing leg. It's doing so much to stabilize me, and it already worked on the other side for 5 and 4. This is nice and slow. 3, pelvis level. 2, neck long. 1. Now push up, little presses. You're almost there. You feel this in your low back? Come out of it. Soften the standing leg or activate the belly a little more. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull down and open to the other side. You know what hydrant comes from, so see if you can imagine that. For 5, or 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. And release. Walk it in and roll up. Woo! So here we have a chance to incorporate a little yoga. And so this should ask a little bit of strength for you, but it should also be some nice stretch, okay? So let's keep the chair sort of at the top of the mat here, so to speak. And we'll move nice and slowly, okay? All right. So we'll start, about a foot or 2 in front of the chair. Make sure you have space behind you. Inhale, breathe your arms up. Exhale, pull your hands through heart center, bend your knees to accommodate the flat spine. Stretch your arms out from your shoulders. You're looking down at your chair, your knees are bent. We're gonna hug the elbows in, hunch them back, and sweep out and around. Pull the elbows down, hunch the wrists back, sweep out and around. Inhale here, out and around. So think about your shoulder mobility, the strength in your legs, and the lift in the navel. Just 3 more times. And 2. Last one. Hands to the chair. Let's step the right leg back so we find our way into lunge, crescent lunge. Use the chair first. Make sure the front heel lands under the knee and lift up. We're going to stretch the arms forward and hover the belly. Let that back hip open a bit. For 4 and 3, really stay up off the back heel. 2. Last one, hands to the mat, step the front foot back. High plank on the chair. easier than on the floor, but you still can get the legs to come super alive and the belly to activate. You can make sure your shoulders are over your hands and that they're drawing back and down to the spine. Thigh bones lifting up for 3, for 2, and 1. Shift your hips up and back. Stretch into downward facing dog on the chair, which I find feels so nice, but don't collapse your shoulders. Push your palms down and feel them stretch as they become active. 1 more breath. Then we start to unwind and we step the opposite foot forward into that lunge. Good, again, knee lands over heel. Take those arms out and around and hover. Try not to come away from the lunge. Try to really trust into it. And you're in a super long line, fingertips to heels. For 5 and 4. Here's 3. Shoulders down for 2. Pinkies turn around for 1. Hands to the chair. Now we're going to take this back leg, step it wide and turn it out as we will do with the other one and sit into a little Malasana. If your chair is as light as mine, don't pull on it a lot because it's going to come toward you. You could pop a block under your hips if you want. What we want is tail down, knees open, heart lifted. Weight in the outsides of the feet. I'm pushing my elbows out into my knees and my knees into my elbows. Gorgeous. For 8 and 7. Enjoy the little stretch here. 6. I know this isn't always easy. 5 or 4 or 3 or 2. Last one, and then slowly come up. Stretch into the hamstrings. Walk your feet together and lift. Okay, can you believe that this is our last standing song before we finish on the mat? Because I can't. I really can't. All right. So we're going to start in a little V. You want a light hand on your chair. I've got my right hand on my chair or my bar for now. And I'm going to take my outside leg, which is my left leg, forward so that the heel meets the toe. Yeah, gorgeous. We're just going to start with lifts. Up and down, up and down. Yes. Staying nice and long. I'm going to move this. I feel like it's in your way. Is that better? Yes. Or 4, 3, 2, 1. Now keep it up. Hold that inside leg up as you lift up and down with the outside leg. From the glute, not from the hip flexor. Tapping forward and back. Yes. Now from here, we're going to add a plie. So we're going to bend, lift, front, up, back, up, front, up. My back heel pretty much stays lifted. Yes, my front heel lands when I come forward. You can add the arm or not. Last 4, 3, 2, stay here for 1. Bend and pulse. So it feels like a curtsy. Knees are coming wide, little accordions. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Land those heels together, step to your second. Inhale down, exhale, side bend. Light hand on the bar. For 3, for 2. Last one. Take that chair in front of you, stay wide. Little hops. For 5, 4, 3. You got this too. Last one. Stand up. You might need to move your chair to the other side. Left hand on the bar. Right leg. Heel to toe. Lift up and down. There's this great drawing up from the pelvic floor all the way to the diaphragm. For 4, 3, 2. Hold it up. Take that outside leg. Tap it forward and back. Imagine you're on a little balance beam. Lift from the back body, not from the front. Now we're going to start to bend, lift. Forward, back, forward, back. A few more times. For 4, 3, 2. Last one, we landed here. Bring the arm down, bend and extend. If your foot is way far ahead of you, you might want to draw it in a little. Or 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Shake it out. Bravo. Okay. Let's lay down. So we're gonna have the chair in front of us. Keep everything sort of nearby. We might use a little bit of everything. Who knows? Because now that we're down to the mat, we're not coming back up. All right, so we're gonna lay down, feet on the chair. Make sure your chair is sort of sturdy, that it's not gonna fall away from you. Or at the very least, when you push up to bridges, spoiler alert, push down to the chair, not forward. All right, lay on down. Gorgeous. So my feet are on the front of the chair, but pushing down into it. All right, inhale here. We're gonna roll up through the spine and then roll back down. Great, now let's do it slower and find every little muscle that has to engage in order for this to happen. Squeeze the glutes at the top and roll back down. All right, now this time, tuck that tail and just keep rolling until you feel your hips barely lift. There should be equal work sort of in the quads and glutes. And then pulse up and down like you're trying to take that round back and kiss it. If your hamstrings are kicking in like crazy, you've got to try to activate those glutes, or you might be too far away from your chair. Last 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now roll it all the way up. Push those knees apart. Resist. 7, 6. You've got this. 5, 4, 3, 2. Lower back to the mat. Keep your back tucked under. Bring your legs up in the air here. Flex the feet. Reach your arms over your chest. Stretch the right leg out. You might be able to bring it under your chair. Stretch the left leg overhead. Dead bug. Head can be up or down. Take that right arm and push it into the left thigh. And hold for 4, 4, 3, 2, and then carefully draw everything back to center. Stretch that left leg out. It might come under the chair. Right arm overhead. Biceps by ears. Curl up if you want. Hand to thigh. Rush the thigh into the hand. Press the hand to the thigh for 4, 4, 3, 4, 2, and release. Hug those knees in. Take the feet to the mat in butterfly. Bring the soles of the feet together, the knees wide. Notice what the back body is doing. Does it want to tuck? Does it want to arch? See if you can find neutral. And then push the feet together, like you're trying to glue the soles of your feet together or bind them together. And see how that activates the glutes, which helps you safely open the hip flexors. Turn your palms up for the ceiling and breathe. We have one more little bit of work here. And then we're going to really stretch. But enjoy this tiny intermission here. One more breath. And then come back through center. Stretch your legs long, arms overhead, roll up to the chair. Grab that band if you have it available to you. If you're like me and you need help remembering to activate your glutes and not work in the hips, you'll want to block between your knees. So this is a little different than usual. We're going to take the band behind the back across the shoulder line and then hold it in the open palms. So inhale, feel the length of your spine, squeeze it on that block. Exhale, tuck the tail under and just roll small until you feel yourself land in the sacrum. Good, now take the arms up overhead. Palms try to tap and then they pull back wide. Little tap. Now, squeezing the block will remind you, this is not hip work. This is belly work. So let that extra extension of the arms turn the abdominals on even more and pull. For 4 and 3. Here's 2. Last one. Now hold the elbows sort of wide. Turn right, come center. turn right, ribs pull across center. The arms don't move, they are set. It's the ribs that pull across for 4. And 3. Oh, I think this is a tough one. 2. Last one. Other side. Gather yourself up. Pull those ribs across like you're wringing out a sponge. It's not arm work. It's not hip work. For 5. For 4. Here's 3. Last 2. Last one. Come sitting up nice and tall. You might want to turn the block so that it's long between the shins and flex the feet. This time, a more traditional spine twist. So twist right, 2, 3, grow tall. Twist left, 2, 3, grow tall. If you're falling into your pelvis, bend those knees a little and keep alternating. The exhales happen for the twist. The inhales, let your spine lengthen and your shoulders drop down. Just one more to each side. Last one. And release. Beautiful job. Band aside. Swivel around. Find those blocks. Right under the shoulders. Shoulders, elbows down, under shoulders. And we'll step back to full plank. Gorgeous. From here, we're going to draw the tail under and hold. And then we're going to slowly tap one knee at a time, keeping that pelvis sort of level, keeping the navel lifted to the spine. Full body exercise. You might not tap the knees, and that's okay, for 8, 7, 6. Final push here, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now land both knees. Find a knee down plank. Let your shoulders come toward the spine and away, and then hold in neutral. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee for 3, 2, 1. Other side. Hold for 3, 2. Release. Bring your knees down. Keep your hands just as they are. Walk your knees in enough to sit back to shell stretch. And then drape your head between your hands. And if you can, bring your prayer hands behind your head. Yoga Mudra. Oh, stay and breathe. Wonderful job. That looked great. Release your hips and shoulders here. Enjoy that bit of release. One more breath here. Oh. And gently release. Bring the hands to the blocks and start to bring your spine up a little. So we're going to start to spread the knees apart and pull the heels in line with the shins, turning the toes out like little penguin feet. And then from here, we're going to stretch the inner thigh. You want to be careful on this one. Maybe you bring your elbows down to the blocks. Now, with your weight over into your shoulders and elbows, this might be enough of a stretch for the inner thigh and groin. If it's not, you could slide your tail back a little, but not tucking under. And here, sensation is enough. No pulling, no tearing. Don't type A your way through this. It's gentle. And it could even be dynamic. You could slide back and forth with care. Ooh. Most people find this to be intense. For 3. For 2. Last one. To come out of it, I like to bring my toes together. I'm going to slide the blocks forward just a little and find table. From here, I'm going to take my right toes behind me, tucking and pressing into them, and then cross them behind the left. And my back automatically wants to arch, so I'm going to resist that. And then I'm going to turn my gaze so that the only bend in the spine is lateral. That's it. Oh, love this stretch. For 3 and 2. Keep the foot active. That's long. Last one. Back to center. Little wags of that tail. Maybe little tucks like a cat and cow small. Left leg comes out in your neutral pelvis. Push into the heel. Take it across. Your back might want to arch. Fight it. And then turn. Keep the heel alive. It's like you're pressing your foot away from your palms for 3 and 2. Last one. Back to center. Walk your knees back until you can safely lower to the mat. Take the hands to the blocks, sort of just cupping them here. Feet are going to split apart and roll in toward one another. I've got nice little goalpost width arms. So from here, I'm going to bring my tail toward my heels, lift my belly. So I have a flat pelvis, nice balanced pelvis, but relaxed glutes. I'm going to lift my heart as much as I can. I'm going to bend my elbows and slide them back, and then maybe lift the heart a little more. But if you get here and it just feels like too much, bring your elbows down under you in Sphinx. That should be a little more friendly, shoulder friendly. Lift the belly just a hair so that your shoulders can open. Lots of space, swan-like necks. Turn the gaze to one side, back through center, the other side, back through center. Gently lower down, just move your hands out of the way. Come on up and bring your knees toward one another. We're gonna sweep up, step the right knee forward, and maybe you use your blocks to come into lunge. I do love the blocks for lunge or chair. You can use the chair. But what the blocks do is help you keep the spine nice and vertical, and a vertical spine helps you stretch into the hip flexor, which we usually, so many of us need. So make sure that knee is protected in the front. It's falling down into the ankle. It's not shooting ahead of it. One more breath here. And then release and switch to the other side. Or just step your opposite leg forward. Come into that stretch. Maybe use the blocks to lift your heart. The thigh works as well. The blocks are just nice little, literally props, propping you up. Again, the front knee is protected. The back hip is opening. You're breathing space into the pelvis. For 3 and 2. Last one. Now from here, we're going to go into a lifted downward facing dog. You can use your blocks or your chair. I think I prefer chair. So I'm going to step my legs up and back and split them, keeping them parallel. So it's like a flat back forward fold, almost more than a downward facing dog here. Let the ears frame, the arms frame the ears. Bend your knees, lift your tail up and back. Gorgeous. And then from here, walk your hands to your thighs and roll up. We're going to use the chair for some standing stretches, imagining that it's like putting our foot on the bar. So stand next to the seat of your chair. Let me angle just a little better for you. And we're going to take one leg up, but we're turned out here. You don't want to lock this knee, but you want it to feel long and lifted. So lift your kneecaps a little. Slide down that leg as you side bend. Now, you've got to protect the knee here, so don't land on the knee, the shin or the thigh. And stay really open to the ceiling. And then turn your heart toward the leg. You might have to angle your foot in a little too. And reach your heart toward your knee, trying to stretch into the hamstrings. Oh, I needed this today. For 3, for 2. Last one. Good, and then unravel your spine. Stand on that foot, bend into it. Take the arms up and twist toward it. So I have my right arm on my left knee and my left arm behind the back. Take your gaze even further behind your shoulder than even the torso can allow. And then gently release. I'm going to switch to the other side. So just swivel, set up well. Make sure you have enough space. A little V here again. And we'll take that leg out on a diagonal. We'll draw the knee up and we'll slide down the leg. And if you feel this in your knee too much, maybe point your toe and soften the knee just a little. Open the heart toward the ceiling. Oh, big stretch all the way down the side of the body here. Then lift up. You might have to turn your toes a little to fold over that leg. You can keep a flat back, or you can really round. You can bend either knee to help accommodate this, but we want to feel the stretch in the hamstrings, elongating that whole back leg. One more breath here. And then bend into that knee, stand on the foot, Breathe your arms up and twist toward it. Other hand comes behind the low back. We use the leg to find a little more rotation than we would be able to without. And even the eyeballs. Turn past the back shoulder a little bit more. One more breath. Now keep your back arm right here and come to stand. Take your other arm and hold it like you're shaking your hands. Roll your shoulder back and down. One little chicken wing comes out and the ear reaches toward it. Oh, stretch the neck. I don't know about you, but 2020 has made me a little tight in the old neck. That's it. Don't bring the arm up to the ear. Bring the ear down to the shoulder and release. Shake it out. Opposite hand comes around behind the back. It looks like this. And then we shake hands. Good. Bring that one chicken wing out. And then draw the ear toward it. Oh, opening up from where the cervical spine attaches to the skull, down across to the edge of the shoulder. One more breath here. And gently release. Some nice hugs across the chest. Just release the arms and shoulders a bit. That's it. One more breath here. And then I'm already in a little V. I'm going to sweep the arms in front of my chest, setting the shoulders, drawing the ribs together and toward the hips. Inhale to lift to my final balance, gazing up. Exhale to land the heels with care. And inhale to open the heart to the ceiling. High release. And you're done. Bravo. Amazing job, everybody. Thanks.